Warning, stop solving your whole life tonight. Have you ever gone to bed with one thought on your mind and you awaken in the middle of the night with your entire life on your mind? One conversation becomes a relationship problem. One mistake becomes a judgment about your character. One uncertain decision predicts that your entire life is in shambles. Tonight, I want to remind you, your life may need your attention, but it does not require every answer tonight. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Christopher Blair, where I talk living life well. I decided around the age of 50 that I was going to quit my job and work for myself so that I can live life well. So I'm sharing that wisdom with you in this channel. So what I want to talk about is let's establish the problem of trying to solve your whole life tonight. The problem is we're overthinking, and overthinking often disguises itself as responsibility. We know we have responsibilities because we tell ourselves, I need to figure this out. I can't rest until I have an answer. If I keep thinking, I will feel certain eventually. But the more thinking doesn't always provide clarity. And I've learned that sometimes it only creates more urgency. So there's a difference between problem solving and looping. So what is problem solving? That's where I have healthy reflection and it moves me towards some kind of decision or an action or even some type of acceptance. But when I'm overthinking, I keep returning to that same fact, the same fears, the same imagined outcomes, and I'm asking myself, I need to discover something. I need to get in action to determine a solution to the problem right now. Or I am mentally rehearsing the same situation. If the thinking is not producing new information or useful next steps, you may no longer be solving a problem. You may be looping. So have you ever thought about this, that your problem is bigger than just tonight? So during the day, we know that responsibilities and conversations, they compete for our attention. But at night, there are no distractions. They disappear, right? So you have these unresolved concerns and they remain, right? So I get tired when I'm trying to make things that are uncertain feel like an emergency. And that silence in the middle of the night, it gives me more fear. It magnifies it like a microphone in my ear, right? It does not mean that the problem is imaginary. It simply means that it may not be the best moment to decide what the problem means. So here's a prompt I want you to try. This is a personal story prompt. Briefly describe a period when you carried several concerns at once. Those several concerns could be your family, your reputation, your career, your relationships, or even there are some questions about the future. Now explain how your mind tried to settle all that in one night, right? So I think that eventually we learn that we get exhausted, right? Because none of that ruminating in the middle of the night gives you clarity. It makes you feel connected that you're trying to solve the problem, but I will emphasize again, in the middle of the night, you don't solve all of your problems. But one thing we know is we want to feel step. So here's a permission I want you to give yourself. You are allowed to postpone a decision without abandoning it, right? You're allowed to say it matters, but I can't resolve it well tonight. Right? You're allowed to say, I will return when I have more energy and information. Rest is not irresponsibility. I'll say that again. Rest is not irresponsibility. Pausing is not avoidance. When you have made a deliberate plan to return, sometimes the most responsible decision is refusing to make an important decision from exhaustion, fear, or urgency. I know. So it's a simple reset. And this is what I want you to practice. First, name what is happening. For me, am I trying to solve my whole life tonight? Second, separate what is real from what is imagined. With a conversation or with the situation, what actually happened? What am I predicting? And then third, identify whether anything truly requires action tonight. That's important. If yes, take the smallest necessary action. If no, give a time to solve it tomorrow. Fourth, write down one useful next step. Now, if you're in the middle of the night doing this, record one useful next step. Say, I'm going to make a phone call. I'm going to review that information. I'm going to have a conversation, or I'm going to ask for help. And lastly, return your attention to your body and the room. This is being present in the moment. I do this all the time. I notice the bed that's supporting me. I release my jaws and shoulders and I take a deep breath. I let one slow exhale remind me that my body is in this moment and I'm in the bed, not my entire future. This practice is so important to diminish repetitive thinking. You do not need to settle your identity, your relationships, your career, your finances, or your future being tonight. It could wait until the morning or another day, right? Your life is built through a series of grounded next steps, one step after the other, right? Not one perfect answer discovered in the middle of the night. The goal is not to force your mind into some type of silence. The goal is to stop treating every moment as an assignment that must be completed immediately. So your life may be asking for an answer, but the answer does not always come tonight. Tonight's task may be simple: rest. Tomorrow you can return to the information you need to gather with more energy, more perspective, and a steadier mind. You do not have to solve your whole life to get one good next step. So here's what I want you to do. Remind yourself, not tonight. If this is you, write "not tonight" in the comments, right? And if you like what you heard today, subscribe for more of our conversations about overthinking, personal authority, and learning to live life well, right? If overthinking has become your trap and you're in a mental loop, I have a book entitled The Overthinking Rescue. It's available on Amazon and it's in my link. So, as I often say, live life well.